Absolutely not. When people hear about index investing, it's common for people to believe that indexing is just a lazy way to invest. It's for the average person who doesn't know how to find the winning stocks, the busy individual who doesn't have the time to put in more effort to get better returns, or just a lazy individual who doesn't have the motivation to do the real work of investing. Well, I'm here to argue that that is just completely wrong. Index investing is for the people who want the best possible results. Hi, if you're new to the channel, my name is Tay from Financial Tortoise, a channel dedicated to helping the sandwich generation reach financial security. In this video, I want to upend the myth that index investing is for lazy people. And I want to show you why so many people believe in this myth and why at the end of the day, index investing is one of the most effective and powerful ways to invest and build wealth. But first, for those of you guys who might be hearing about index investing for the first time, let me quickly explain what it is. If you watch any financial news, you hear reporters talking about how the market is up 50 points or down 100 points. They're referring to what is known as the index. The Standard & Poor S&P 500 is one of the most widely followed indexes in the world. It represents the 500 largest publicly traded companies in the United States. As of this video, the top companies within this index are Apple, Microsoft, and Amazon. Of course, this can and will change. Just 20 years ago, Amazon was still a river in South America. The basic concept of index investing is that since the chances of finding single stocks that outperform the market are very small, you'll get better results by buying every stock in a given index like the S&P 500. 50 years ago, this would have been almost impossible. You'd need to know all the publicly traded companies in the index and buy them individually. However, came Mr. Jack Bogle. Mr. Bogle founded Vanguard and gave the individual investor the ability to purchase all the stocks in an index by creating the first index fund in 1976, the Vanguard 500 Index Fund. When he initially created this fund, the idea of index fund was challenged because it threatened the existing rationale behind paying high fees to Wall Street professionals. He was ridiculed and laughed at. But Mr. Jack Bogle has had the last laugh. Since the formation of S&P 500 Index Fund, the fund has returned an average of 11.47% annually while maintaining its low expenses to the investors. And Mr. Jack Bogle's idea has been validated repeatedly. Now, you might be thinking, man, this index investing sounds like an amazing deal. Why wouldn't everyone do it? Let me tell you why. But first, if you're enjoying this video and you want to learn more about personal finance and navigating life as a sandwich generation, I would appreciate it if you could subscribe and hit the like button because that would really help out the channel. Regardless of the index investing's success record the last 4 decades, many still believe the myth that there is a better way of investing. They believe that Vanguard and index investing is sound advice, but it's for the average person who doesn't want to do the hard work of real investing. They believe that with a little more effort and the right selection of individual stocks and/or actively managed funds, the studious investor can do much better. I honestly don't think so. It's hard to accept the average. We all believe that we're better than average. According to recent research, 65% of Americans believe that they're above average in intelligence. This isn't surprising since who would want to believe that they're below average? But if the belief and reality were true, these statistics wouldn't make any sense. Only half the people can really be better than average, right? We tend to carry over this belief into our investment mindset because to buy the index is to accept the market's average return. I'm not average, so how can I accept average returns? But in this context, the word average is quite misunderstood. It doesn't mean that the index fund returns are at the midpoint. The average here means the combined performance of all the publicly traded stocks in an index. Professional fund managers are measured against this return. Their ultimate goal is to get their actively managed funds to beat the index average returns. However, in a period of 30 years, the index has outperformed 99% of actively managed funds. This is based on a study presented in the Journal of Finance, where of 2,076 actively managed US stock funds, only 0.6% showed any skill at beating the index over a 30-year time period, from 1976 to 2006. This means that if you were to buy a total stock market index fund like the VTSAX, you'll likely be in the top 1% performance compared to actively managed funds. Not bad for being an average. Big banks and the financial media also play a huge role in perpetuating this myth. Just turn on any financial news. It's filled with stories of individuals who have outperformed the index. These superstar investors are the darlings of the financial media. And the reason is because they sell news. Who wants to hear about a boring investor who's consistently growing his or her net worth by index investing? The media's primary purpose is to get more viewers through sensational news. Then with these viewers, they can sell advertisement slots to the big banks, who in turn wants to convert the viewers into customers for their lucrative financial products. And these are quite lucrative indeed. The financial service business is a trillion-dollar industry dedicated to selling advice and brokering trades to people who can be persuaded to believe they can outperform the market. Financial advisors, money managers, mutual fund companies, and brokerage companies all want their hands in your pocket. Make no mistake, the financial news media isn't providing the financial information for your benefit. Recognize that these are marketing techniques for the big banks. Carefully leverage their service for your benefit, but recognize what their ultimate incentives are. Another big reason people believe in this myth that index investing is for lazy people is that we underestimate the hidden costs of active investing. Paying 1 to 2% to a fund manager or an advisor sounds minuscule. We pay multiple times that in our taxes every year. However, 1 to 2% annual fee in the investing world can be detrimental to your wealth. Remember, these fees not only reduce your returns, but also compound over time. So if you're paying an advisor or a fund manager a fee of even just 0.5%, that means you're losing 25% of your potential return after 30 years. That is huge. Mr. Jack Bogle had a saying, fund performance comes and goes, cost go on forever. Let me tell you some harsh truth you may not want to hear. I can't pick winning individual stocks or mutual funds, and neither can you. Nor can the vast majority of people who claim they did or can. If you happen to be 1 in a billion who can, I'm not sure why you're watching this video. It is ridiculously difficult, and having the humility to accept this will be the key to making you rich and wealthy. I love index investing not because it's simple and straightforward, but because at the end of the day, it is a much more effective way to invest than the alternative. If you don't believe this random guy on YouTube, at least listen to some of these wise individuals. On average, the average large stock fund manager produces average returns before fees and below average returns after fees. So compare with after fee returns, an index fund is superior. Howard Marks. A low-cost index fund is the most sensible equity investment for the great majority of investors. Warren Buffett. Don't look for the needle in the haystack, just buy the haystack. Jack Bogle. Let me know in the comments below what you think about this video. I'd love to hear your thoughts for both for and against this idea about index investing. Thank you guys for watching. If you found value from this video, please hit the like button, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on any of my other upcoming videos. I firmly believe that being part of the Sandwich generation doesn't have to mean financial stress. With careful planning and preparation, we can thrive during this stage of life. Help me spread the knowledge. Thank you again. I'll see you in my next video.